Don't worry about it. Oh, yeah. Hi, guys. Lucid XO, 25 Days to Christ. We on here. We're going to do this real quick. I'm not going to be long-winded as I have done some other days. You know what we doing. We're going to talk about the bracelet. You go to lucidxo.com. You copy your Presence of God bracelet. That's to remind you you always have the presence of God with you, because you know that's his promise. We talked about that. You can go to the website at lucidxo.com to see more about it. So today we're going to talk about guarding your heart. Just guard your heart. And it's coming from Proverbs 23. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Proverbs 4:23. Yeah, we having fun in here, so I'm not going to be long because we are getting ready for tomorrow, for the festivities, for the acting up. I am holding my children's gifts hostage because I know they cannot wait to open them, and I'm so excited to make them squirm and just to go get to those gifts. So, Proverbs 23, we're talking about guarding your heart. Proverbs 23 says, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. There's another version. Somebody put it up. Put up another version. Tag me in the version. Guard your heart above all else. I think it says something like, for out of it flows something or other. Can I get a computer? Can you bring the computer? Yeah. So the reason why I want to talk about guarding your heart, because you know what? We talk about guarding your heart all the time, right? And a lot of times we're talking about guarding your heart because we are trying to justify our fear of loving. I'm going to get that version and we're going to talk about guarding your heart, Proverbs 4:23. Because I want to take us out of fear of loving. And I want to talk about the real reason why the word tells us to guard our heart. You know that all of these messages for this is 25 Days to Christ with Lucid XO. You know what this is. And the computer's on my bed.
Mine is dead.
Oh, I thought I charged it up all day. So the reason why is because we do the work on the inside. So this guard your heart is more of an inside work. And I'm going to get this. I'm typing in YouTube, y'all, because I'm used to the Christmas music. But remember, I said I wasn't going to put the Christmas music on because I've been converting the videos to YouTube. And they're very serious about copyrights and having to, fix the videos to remove the music and stuff like that is a daunting task. So I've been holding off on it. 4:23. This version says, keep a vigilant watch over your heart. That's where life starts. That's the Message Bible. But let me see if it's in the King James Bible, because I know the verbiage I'm looking for. Keep the heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. That's what it is. Out of it are the issues of life. Right? And so when we think of keeping our hearts, we automatically think, oh, don't put too much stock into anyone. Don't be too loving towards anyone. It's almost like a don't list. But guard your heart has nothing to do with don't love people, or don't love people to a great capacity, or whatever the case may be. Guard your heart really means to keep your heart from becoming bitter. From becoming so full up of things that will cause you to behave in an adverse way from the type of life that God wants you to have. So it's like this. It's like when we keep hearing guard your heart, guard your heart. That's you trying to justify not being a good person, or you trying to justify your fear of entering into something where you feel like you'll be giving your all and the other person won't be giving their all. And remember, remember in our other messages, we've talked about doing away with that mentality, because you're attracting, hey Sharon, you attract what you think, because as a man thinks, so is he. So if you think that someone doesn't really love you, then guess what? You're attracting that type of aura in your presence. So when we talk about guarding your heart, we're literally talking about keeping your heart clean. That's what guard your heart means. And they're telling you that because that's where the issues of life flow from. See, they're not telling, the word of God does not tell you to guard your heart so that your heart doesn't get broken. It's not about you feeling an emotional, I don't know the word for it. I'm going to say this right now, right? I got my sister auntie on me right now. Rejection and emotional rejection. Guard your heart is not to protect you from emotional rejection. Guarding your heart is supposed to be protecting you from allowing your heart to be so full of things that are negative that you begin to come the rejector. That's what guard your heart means. It means that when someone does you wrong, you don't harbor unforgiveness in your heart and become a bitter person and live your life bitterly. And we know you're bitter because of the way that you speak, because it's coming out of your mouth. Remember, I told you this on the other message, that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak. Well, how did the heart get that way? Because you didn't guard it. Not because you didn't guard it from love. It's because you didn't guard it from situations and circumstance. Don't you know that you can lose someone in your life that you love so much, and that will literally keep you from guarding your heart. Like, it'll make you feel a certain way towards everything in life. It can do two things. It could make you really appreciate life, or it could make you say, what is life really about? It's not really about a thing. I've watched it. I've seen some people very close to me. I don't want to put them out there because they might know who they are if they watch this message. Hey, TT. But I've watched some people who've gone through certain types of losses and they couldn't let it go. And it drove them to do other things, like drink heavily. You know, it caused them to do other things. That's because they didn't guard their heart. Meaning that they didn't protect it from letting the situation get them down. It's like the saying when it says, it's not the water that sinks the ship, it's the water that gets in the ship that sinks the ship. Or it's not the water that sinks the boat, it's the water that gets in the boat that sinks the boat. You're letting these negative things in your heart stay there. Remember, I told you yesterday how depression, anxiety, frustration, anger and bitterness and things, that's your body on the inside that you haven't let out. It's a feeling of pain and angst that you haven't let out. And so when you don't guard your heart, these are the things that happens to your heart. So I want you to get in your mind that if you ever hear someone say guard your heart, that now you think of it with a different mindset. Because remember, I'm coming to uproot some of these traditional ideas we have about what these various colloquialisms mean. And remember how, I'm trying to take us away from the separation, away from, I know we got to do the 6 feet thing and all of this stuff, and you can't go to nobody's house and yada, and can't touch and kiss and hug. I know that we have to go through that naturally, but spiritually we were already there before Corona happened. And so now I'm trying to bring us back. And so I'm telling you, that's dreamy. And so I'm telling you that guard your heart doesn't mean keep it from loving. It doesn't mean that. It just means literally that you don't allow when something adverse happens to you to remain there, to make you become no longer even willing to love. That's what guard your heart means. So when we say guard your heart, I want you to guard your heart. I'm thinking of a heart being protected by a fence. Right? You have a heart that's protected by the fence. Now, usually, what is the fence for? Some people use the fence to keep things out. Some people use the fence to keep things in. So, when we're talking about guarding your heart, you want to put that fence on your heart is meant to keep things out. It's meant to keep frustration out, anger out. Hey, Trent. Hey, Jay. It's meant to keep frustration out. Anger out, depression out, sadness out, hopelessness out. but it's also to keep some things in. What is that? The very foundation that God gave you. The ability to love with a strength, a very, I would call it an unfair capacity. I told you this on another message. You are given the capacity to love so much that it overflows. And guess what? If it overflows and spills somewhere, there's enough love to come back and fill you right back up. So you don't have to just hang on to this little piece of love you have. That's not the way to live. I want you to live bigger. And the way to live bigger is you have to love bigger. In order to love bigger, you have to be free. You have to think free. You have to think positively. You have to think, this is in my favor. This works in my favor. It's for my good. Remember, we did that message. It's all for your good. It's already done. It's been worked out already. The good thing that he started in you is already performed. He's going to perform it. I talked about that very thing yesterday where I sat here and shed my tears. It's the process that we have the problem with. So when I say guard your heart, when anyone else ever comes to you and say, guard your heart, from now on, don't let the enemy come in here. All right, Trent, don't let the enemy come in here and begin to make you feel like guard your heart means just protect yourself from love. Man, love is the greatest thing. First of all, let me help you with something. If you don't have love, you have nothing. I don't care. You can have all the money you want to have. If you don't have love, you don't have anything. And I mean that sincerely. And you know, Sister Auntie love a good piece of change now. Look, Sister Auntie like a coin. Okay? Sister Auntie like a coin. But if you don't have love, it literally doesn't mean anything. We talked about that in the other messages. What's the point of leaving a financial inheritance to your children if they're going to be fighting and bickering over the money? You got to leave something more than that. You will see so many people. I talked to you in the other message about Steve Jobs dying lonely. He had all the money you could imagine. He died lonely. He didn't die happy because he had money. You know why? He didn't have love. You know why? Because he didn't guard his heart. You know what he did? He let his heart go out here and be filled up with bitterness and unforgiveness. The reason why Steve Jobs was so angry in life is because his parents left him and he had to be adopted. And he literally let his entire life, the way he felt, the way he think, the way he moved, the way he lived. That's the most important thing. The way he lived. He let one situation, one drip of water got into his boat and he let it sink his whole boat. He did not die a happy person. He was a very miserable person, but he had all the money. Now tell me, is that a way to live? And I'm not saying, oh, you know, love over money or money over love, because, you know, I'm talking about living the abundant life. So you're going to have your love and your money. Just make no mistakes about what I be trying to say. But the thing is that make sure that there's the love there. So don't just be so hardened by your situations that you just forget to love and that it just weighs you down. That's the word I'm looking for. You're letting your heart get weighed down with situations. You're letting your heart get weighed down with fear and doubts. Fear and doubts will stop you in your track and keep you from living your full destiny. So Lucid XO came on here to encourage you today to tell you exactly that. Guard your heart. Yep. Guard your heart from bitterness and hardness, frustration, from anger, from sickness, from sadness, from depression, from anything that is not the abundant life that you've been promised from God. God said he promised you his presence. The presence of God, lucidxo.com. So what does that mean? That means when the presence of God comes in, some things in your life are different. Didn't I tell you, me and my family is living our best life because we have literally so much love. We have turned the negative thing into a positive thing. We worked towards that. We worked very hard to do that. How did we do that? We started uprooting some things. Our hearts were so heavy and weighted down. Y'all, I was a frantic mess, and it came out in everything I did. Even though I really, really loved people, they couldn't tell that I loved people because I was operating from a heart that wasn't guarded from the issues of the world, and I let them get in my heart and weigh me down. I was always frantic. I was always rushing around, moving fast, just doing things. And so a lot of times when I would speak, I speak sharp and quick because I feel like I don't have time. I got to get this done because I got to make up for what I lost and all of these various things that was weighing my heart down. But as I began to pick those things off and stop worrying about the things that I lost and worrying about what I didn't have or what I need to get or whatever, and just kind of live this life on purpose, but live it a little bit more like free, or what's the word I'm looking for? Just live it, just live it from stage to stage, beginning to appreciate my stages. Like one day I was reading my word and the words just yes, dream, preach. One day I was reading my word and the word literally jumped off at the page at me. Sometimes that happens to me. Sometimes I eat the word literally. Like, I'm not joking. Y'all heard my message yesterday. I have these experiences with God. I'll be reading my word and it'll taste good, or somebody will say and I'll that tastes good, and it'll go down my throat. And I have friends that laugh because we'll talk about the word and I'll be like, that tastes good, but I'm not, they laughing and I'm joking, but I'm dead serious. Like, because remember I told you I play too much, but I don't play, but I play too much, right? And I'll be really tasting the word and it be really right there in the back, and it be good. And the word did this for me. It said, I count it all joy when I fall into diverse temptations. Why? I begin to rejoice sometimes because I know that it's teaching me something. It's giving me a lesson. Do I like it? Does it feel good? No, let's just, let's just come on here now. I'm not like souped up and cracked up like that. You know what I'm saying? But when I begin to understand, wow, this was for that, it does make me rejoice because I know that all parts of my life work for my good. That's another message you got to go back and look to. It's another message. It all works for my good. So when I say guard your heart, yes, guard your heart from that. Guard your heart from the thing. Even guard your heart from yourself, from your past. You will hold yourself hostage and won't let yourself be free because you'll be so down on yourself on what you didn't do right. Look, I've had this conversation with my son because remember, he just got out of jail. He's only 23, right? But he's just feeling like, oh my goodness, like he just lost so much time. Yes, he did lose some time, but guess what? You can't go back. And now he was trying to like rush to try to get. And I was like, look, you don't have to behave like that. You don't have to act like you are on a time schedule. Who are you on this time schedule for? No one said by this time you had to be doing this. Yes, it's lovely. Make your plans. Be intentional with your life. But do not base it based on your past. Because you did a crime and you spent 5 years in jail, now you want to rush to try to hurry up and get things in a certain order. But if you do that, you're going to end up getting yourself back in trouble because when you're rushing, you don't have a clear mind. Remember, we already talked about your mind has to be clear and free. That's why I did the other message called rest. You have to, or it wasn't called rest, but it was something about resting and taking the time to be still, because that's when you your creative juices begin to flow, when you physically rest, spiritually rest, and mentally rest. This is what you do, because if you do not do that, if you do not take the time, what's going to happen is your heart condition is going to begin to change, because you're going to begin to allow your mind to change your heart condition. Listen, there's something in the word that says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. He ought to not think that he'll receive anything from God, because you are fighting yourself. When your mind and your heart are not on one accord, you are fighting yourself, and that's when you have an internal struggle. The peace, everything you're looking for is on the inside of you. You're looking for everything everywhere, and it's literally in you. That's why all of these messages have nothing to do with what's going on the outside, because it's all on the inside. When your mind and your heart are aligned, that is when you have peace. And I don't know if I said this in another message, but I'm going to say it here. When your mind and your heart are on two different planes, you struggle. you struggle. This is what I've told people before. When you have a struggle, that's because in your mind you're doing one thing and in your heart you're doing another thing. When they begin to meet, that's when you know that that's the thing that you should be doing, because it will give you a resounding peace. If you have no peace, you need to uproot that thing that's causing you not to have peace. Because here's the thing. If you are supposed to be doing a thing, or you're not supposed to be doing a thing, and you are doing it anyway, let's do one at a time. If you are supposed to do a thing and you do not do it, you're going to have discord in your mind and heart. You won't be at peace. If you're not supposed to do a thing and you're doing it anyway, you will have discord and you won't have peace within yourself. And in order to rectify it, you got to fix the thing that's causing you the discord, no matter how painful it is. Let it burn. Usher said it best. Let it burn, because everything you do may not be good for you. And you know that. So stop doing that. Yes, it's hard to break certain habits and to stop doing certain things, especially when it feels so good to your body. Your mind. It feels good in your mind, but not in your heart, because it's not right. You can't receive what you're supposed to receive because you're not in alignment. A lot of our promises from God have nothing to do with God. He's already given the promise. He gave it, which is how the bracelet came to be. He gave the promise. The problem is we can't walk in it because we're not in alignment and we're not in order to receive that promise. Whatever that promise may be, grand or small, it just may be to have joy or peace in your life. You know why? Because you know you need to let go of that bitterness, but you hold on to it. Because in your mind, you shouldn't be taking this. But your heart is like, but I don't even want to be mad. But your mind tells you, don't take that, and don't you ever let nobody do you that kind of way, because they need to respect you. And so then you're going against your heart. Now, guess what? You can't receive your joy because your mind and heart are not aligned. Because why? You're not guarding your heart. You're letting things of the world infiltrate you. Your mind is like a thing of the world, because your mind is picking up images and different deposits all day long. All day long. Yes, Tiana, ego. It's picking those things up all day long. Then you settle them, and now your heart has to reckon with it. But if you guard your heart to remember, oh, no, there's offense here. You don't belong here. Discord does not belong here. Disrespect does not belong here. Unforgiveness is, I don't care. Remember, I told you no man can take your life. You lay your life down. When you forgive someone, you're not just, it's not, he or she, you forgave them. I wouldn't have took that. You probably wouldn't have took that, and now you mad for the rest of your life, but I'm not going to be mad for the rest of my life. I don't know. I told you this on a couple messages again about how my father does me as his daughter. If I was to allow the issue of his heart into my mind to speak to my heart, I would be a bitter person. And I used to be. I literally had to call a cousin of mine, Zaina Dyson, to talk to me about forgiveness. I'm like, she called me one day to talk to me about an issue she had. And I said, before you get to yours, I got to talk to you about this, because I've seen her forgive people, and I knew she had the spirit of forgiveness. I said, talk to me about this. This was some years ago, before I had to reckon with how to deal with my father. And we began to talk, and we got off that phone, and she blessed my life. She blessed my life, because I don't just count any old body out. I don't allow my mind to tell me you can't receive from this person or that person because of their credentials. I don't do that. I receive where I need to receive. And that's another thing we have to learn, but that's for the body of Christ. I'm not going to do that, because when I get to doing that, it'll be a whole different type of message. But I'm talking about guarding your heart. Hey, Quadina, and you have to guard your heart. And so that's how I love. That's how I love. You got to love, forgive, let it go. It is not worth your entire life. Don't let one situation make your whole life miserable. Certain situations can motivate you and incline you to do things, to do better, to live better. But if that thing is not motivating you to do better, if it is literally keeping you in bondage to it, meaning that you cannot interact with people, you don't know how to talk with people, you can't even deal with yourself, you can't even lay in the bed at night because you're a fret, you worry all the time, you're anxious about everything, and you control nothing. That is you not guarding your heart. You were not supposed to allow a situation come in here and turn you around for the bad. Any situation that comes to you is supposed to make you better. It's supposed to teach you a lesson to do better, not teach you a lesson so that you do worse. Come on now. I'm just talking about guarding your heart, y'all. Guard your heart. Listen, even right now, it's Christmas time. You might feel like you couldn't do what you want to do, or you couldn't do anything at all. Guess what? This is what I'm telling you. When I tell you guard your heart and not to let situations get in your heart and weigh you down, don't you carry this into next Christmas. Don't you keep this same attitude and be like, just because that happened last year, you weren't able to maintain, then you get to next Christmas, it don't really mean that much anyway, because now you got to justify to why you didn't do what you wanted to do last Christmas to try to save face or whatever the case may be. You don't have to do that. Rejoice. Rejoice. And again, I'm going to say rejoice. If you couldn't do it this year, oh well, this year's over. Moving on. Keep going. Keep growing. Guard your heart. Don't let that thing weigh you down. Don't let no water get in your boat and sink your boat. You keep moving. Next year, if you get it, then guess what? You tap out. Cash out. That's what y'all say now. Y'all say cash out. You cash out next year. All in wisdom. Sister Auntie having a little fun, all in wisdom. But you know what I mean. My kids making fun of me now because I'm like, look, y'all want to eat next week. Y'all better calm down. Y'all better calm down with this Christmas stuff. But we have been blessed enough to do what we're doing. But I'm like, look, y'all going to be eating oodles and noodles. I'm going to be eating lo mein. And I'm not finna share with y'all if y'all don't act right. But we just having a fun. It's blessed we able to do it. I'm just making sure that we are whole. We're whole so that we're not doing all of this for Christmas for one day and then not being balanced to be able to continue on with the rest of our life. You know what I mean? This is a whole rest of your life type of situation. So these are the things that make you guard your heart. Guard your heart, but not to be afraid to love or to give it to somebody because God forbid they hurt your feelings or they just hurt your heart. Listen, I told you before, if somebody breaks your heart, I'm sorry. You deal with it accordingly. And then guess what? God gonna fill you up with more love to go give to somebody else. And you will attract that right person. You can see. You not blind. You the one struggling being a double mind when you're with the person and you know that your heart and your mind are not in alignment. Okay? Yeah, let's talk about that. Y'all see the rainbow? Y'all see that rainbow? I don't know if y'all see that rainbow behind me, but it's beautiful. So this is what I'm saying. Guard your heart. Have a good time. Have a Merry Christmas. Remember, Jesus is the reason for this season. I'm not saying that lightly. I'm literally saying that because if it had not been for God, I wouldn't have this much joy. Like literally, oh my goodness. Like we are, like the family is doing so well. We're so emotionally healthy and I love it. We're spiritually healthy. We're emotionally healthy, but we put in our work. So put your work in and make sure that when you guard your heart, you keep y'all past situations. My family and I, we don't bring up the things that we did to hurt one another in the past. We don't bring it up at all because we dealt with it. See, remember I told you that on another message. Yes, Dream. You have to go back and listen to the other message that you have to do the work. Don't just try to skate over it. Don't just try to ignore it. Don't say sorry and don't talk about it. I had to let my family tell me what I did to that hurt them. And I had to be like, oh, okay. And make sure that I learned from that. And that's why we're here now. We did the work. You know what I mean? Hey, James, hold on. Let me get the baby. Okay, because she just want She just want to do something, I don't know, y'all. And that's little Dreamy. Okay, Dreamy, read the Bible. There she go. Read the Bible. But yes, so yes, Quadzina, yes. Usually people only want to guard their heart when it comes to giving love. But that's not what it's meant to do. When it came out as guard your heart, it wasn't meant to protect you from loving. It was meant to protect you from the bad stuff that's gonna come in that will keep you from loving. Because you'll be in a bad relationship knowing you should get out, but you know, we all live life. You'll be in a bad relationship, stay in a bad relationship, and when they finally leave you, even though you know you should have left them, then you'll go out and you'll say there's no good people in the world because you didn't guard your heart from allowing that situation to weigh you down. Not that you're not supposed to go in with another relationship with a clear look, when you get in a new relationship, that's a new, fresh, clean slate. You get the opportunity to reinvent yourself, to learn from the last thing, and you get to do it, and do it with grace, do it with strength, do it with joy. Don't do it begrudgingly, and don't do it, tipping toeing. I used to talk to this older man at work, and he would say how he know everything is good between him and his young lady that he used to mess with. He said he'll throw his hat in the door, and if the hat come back out, he know there's drama. He don't go in. Stop trying to throw your hat in the door with love. You keep trying to throw your hat in the door and wait and see what happens. I told you in the other message, when you do that, the spirit doesn't lie. Right? The spirit doesn't lie. And so you were literally, she ripping my Bible. Y'all know my Bible be in pieces already. Come on, Dream. Somebody come get the door, please. So you will attract, your spirit will attract that. And you don't realize it because your flesh is doing one thing and you thinking, well, you smiling and you're being polite, but your spirit is screaming, I cannot do this. I don't feel safe. And so the other person is screaming in their spirit, oh, something here is going on. However, y'all will sleep with each other, mess with each other, and it turns out to be a mess. But the spirit won't lie to you. You can lie to you. They can lie to you. You can lie to them. But those two spirits won't lie. They will not lie. So make sure your heart and your mind is in alignment whenever you make any decision, whether it's a relationship wise, whether it's purchasing, whatever it is, be in alignment and guard your heart, but not guard your heart from loving, guard your heart from allowing things to stop you from loving. That's what this encouraging word is today. Guard your heart. I told you I can't be here long. They showed up with the wrapping paper. It's going down in here, y'all. I'm about to get off. Guard your heart. Proverbs 4:23. I hope I twisted and here you go. Take her, please, because she's ripping up my Bible.
Dream.
I hope that I have changed your mind on what guard your heart means so that you won't be fearful. Let love in and let love lead. It is okay. It is okay. Don't worry about it. You have enough love to be filled up as many times as you pour out. As you pour out. Why? Because you're bigger than that. You're bigger than that. Don't tell me you only have 4 ounces of love in you. You're bigger than that. I don't know how many ounces the heart weighs, but you're bigger than that. It's a spirit thing. It's not a natural thing. And when you attack it or you approach it naturally, you get natural results. And usually what you're getting in the natural is not what you desire to have. It's not what you desire. You want more. Be big. I love you, Quadzina. Be big. Go listen to that message, Greater. Be big as you can be. Laugh loud. Don't chuckle. Don't laugh. Feel that thing in your toes. Feel it. Laugh it out. Don't be afraid to feel every feeling. God gave you all of this. All those nerve endings he gave you in your body. Do you think he didn't want you to be able to feel it? Feel it all. Live it loud. Live, laugh, love. That is a mantra you should live by and laugh loud. You hear me? Give it your best. You give this life your best shot. You give it your all. You everything within you. Everything you got in you. Leave it on the dance floor. That's what they say. Leave it on the floor. Give it. Give it. Guard your heart. Guard your heart. Guard your heart, y'all. That's the encouraging word for today. I'm out of here. Sister Auntie is gone. You know why we do this. We don't do this to get you through December. We don't do this to get you through 2020. We're not trying to get you through to 2021. We're trying to get you to live your best life on purpose. This is for the rest of your life. All of these encouraging words, if you go back on those posts, the 25 days of Christ, are to get you, it's a foundation for your life on the inside. It does not deal with any outside situations or any outside. Every single word is an encouraging word for your life. It's your movie. Remember that word I gave on the other message, coming soon? Who's coming soon? You're coming soon. This is your life, your movie. This your thing. That's what I'm here to say. I gotta go play with my family. It's Christmas Eve, y'all. What y'all doing? I see y'all tomorrow is my last day, Lucid XO. I'm going to be on early tomorrow. I don't know how early, but I'm going to be on early because I'm going to do that and get off and go on about my life and live my best life on purpose. It's your girl, Sister Auntie, always loving on you, always encouraging you. Go to the website, lucidxo.com. Cop your Presence of God bracelet. Go to amazon.com. Cop your The Night My Sister Was God book, written by me, because you know the story is off the chain. If you listened to the message yesterday, you know it's crazy. Go ahead and do that. You can go to the YouTube station, Read the Bible Ministries. I have some of the other messages on there as well. But enjoy your Christmas Eve. Enjoy your life. I'm out of here. Bye.